Okay, so what we are going to learn about the REST framework, or usually people say this is REST API. Instead of the REST framework, people will say it as the REST API, because with the link that you created with the REST framework, you can access the data. So it means you don't need to have the database, you can just have your REST API and you can share it to other people. So the elements that you need to know for this kind of REST API, there will be like proxy, gateway, some connectors between client and server, and some kind of data. This is about the resource and representation. Yeah, if it is using the element, but if you are using the REST, the representation state transfer, it ignores the component implementation detail. So whenever you want to connect to one computer, you need to use proxy. You need to understand the gateway. You need to understand what is the client. Maybe if the client is Windows, it will be different with Mac. If your computer is Linux, it will be different with Windows. It's natural. So the REST framework, it ignores the component details and it focuses on roles of the components, their interaction, and their interpretation of the data elements. So it just focuses on the data. It doesn't care about whether your computer is old, whether your computer is new. It doesn't care about it. So there are some kind of terminology, we call it resources, URI, or uniform resource identifier. Sometimes people connect this URI with URL. And what is the web page or the HTML page? So when you are doing with the client and the resources, so why we call it as representational state transfer? So the representational state transfer means I have a resource. So I have a resource and I want to connect to this resource. Let's say weather. I have a weather, but this is not, it's not real. So I want to connect to this resource through this link. And then I can see the HTML when I click to this link. So the HTML will be seen in the client resources, in the client device. And there can be a lot of architecture style. So it is the architectural style of the network system. If you see what we already learned before about the API, like this one, airport API, for example. So this kind of API, they provide the airport information. So they can give you, this is the style. If you want to know what is the airport name, for example, Incheon, it is ICN. So you can have the ICAO code, and you can describe this in more detail. Yeah, in this case, I don't have any authorized here. So the authorization is not available, so I cannot get any data. Whenever we have this kind of API, usually we need to have the authorization. I think in a few weeks later, we will learn how to get some authorization from your personal, because the key And also this authorization things is very personal. And you can see the authorization out, yeah, no API key. So it means although it is public API, but they still have the key. They need to get the key. So you need to get the key in order to access that one. And the authorization, yeah, no. There is no yes in this case. So it means at least you need to provide a key. It is for the security purpose. So it is not we can say it is not truly public, but it is free if you register on their website. So this kind of architectural style, yeah, it is a kind of network system so people can understand. And it is the underlying architectural model of the World Wide Web and guiding framework for the web protocol standards. There are many kind of web service like what you saw on the list. Yeah? It can be used for the online shopping, search devices, dictionary services, and etc. So there are many questions also because I explained these two kind of protocol. So what is the best one? SOAP or REST? So this table shows the comparison between the two. The SOAP is a kind of protocol, but REST is more the architectural style. And for the function, yeah, the SOAP is more function driven. Yeah, I didn't explain in details, but it is just for your information. In the REST API, it is more about the data driven. The data format in SOAP, it uses XML. But the data in the REST API, it permits many data formats, including the plain text, so with the text txt file, with HTML, with XML, and also JSON. So that's why we learn about the XML and JSON. And the security, if you understand a little bit about the web, nowadays web is not HTTP, but it includes S. It is for the security purpose, HTTPS. For the SOAP, it only uses the web service security and the SSL. So the security is still the old version. What about the bandwidth? It requires more resources, but in the REST, it requires fewer resources. Data cache. So we can make a kind of cookie. So we can save our information into the personal computer. So we call it, this is cache. The other thing is about the payload and the ACID. I think it's not that important. So I would like to focus only on the REST instead of the SOAP. Before we enter the REST, it is good to install a framework. If you do not install this framework, maybe you need more efforts to do the coding. So let's install this Django REST framework. So you already have the basic REST. And in order to install the framework, you can go to the terminal. If you run your PyCharm, it means it is connected to your Python. So you can type your installation here, pip install Django REST framework. It will download the Django REST framework for you, and it will be installed in your computer. Now, what we can see from the basic REST is only yeah, the very basic Django. Let's create an app. Okay, so for as I mentioned to you, please download the new PowerPoint. Okay, I created, I modified some part of this one. Previously, I just use a manual way to do the new application, but I found out in Django 4 it is not available with the manual creation. So we need to use the proper way to create the app. So I'm going to create a new app. In this case is post. You can run this one, Python minutes.py start app post. If you deal with this one, okay, after you do this Python minutes.py start app post, you will see there is a folder post. Okay, so you already know how to do this one. This is based on your mid exam, and you will see there will be some files in your folder post. So inside the models.py, please input this one. So in the models.py, let's create this one. What I plan to do is I would like to make a kind of content. So in this content, there will be 4 attributes. The first is the content title. The title is a character and the maximum length is 50. The content, so maybe if you create a blog, then there will be the blog content. It is text field and there is no limit with the text. Created at, so it means this is a date time. It is based on the current date. Auto now add, so it is automatically added whenever we add the new data. And updated at, so whenever we updated the data, then it will also give a new value. Whenever I call the SQL, I will show the title first. Now I'm going to register this app into the admin.py. So admin.py, you can import the admin, and then I'm going to use the post. What is post? The post is the models. Post is the name of the class that you define in the model. And I want to register these attributes into the admin side. So later you can just add a new data in your admin. I'm going to put this application into the settings.py. So the step-by-step is the same with what you already did on your mid exam. So I'm going to put the post, okay, post.app.postconfigs, and then let's do make migration, and then migrate And then let's create the super user. So I think for me, because I have the make migration here, I will do the tool, and then I will do this run minutes.py task. Okay, I will do the make migration. Okay, everything is okay. And then I will do migrate. And after I do the make migration, after I do migrate, I can create the super user. For the create super user, I will make the admin as the username, admin. And the password is still the same, the hub.ime. So the email address is up to you. For me, just like apc.apc.com. The password I use hub.ime203, so I can easily remember. Okay, finish. And after this, run the Django and add the 3 data from the admin page. Oops. Oh, sorry, I didn't change this one. So I need to change to the basic REST. This is the project name. Okay. And then let me run. So I will run this into this web browser. And then I will go to admin. And I will enter my username before I use admin. And the password is hub.ime203. Okay. Now you can see there is one new section about posts. So let's add some data here. Yeah, I will follow this one. If you want to add more, it's up to you, but I will just use this one so it will be helpful for us to understand the step by step. So the title is first post and the content is hello world. Okay, I will just say like this one, hello world. And then save and add another. So I will add the second one, which is second post. And then I will create the function word. Save and add another. I will add the third one, third post. And then I will have the content algorithm word. Okay. Save. So there will be 3 items in our data. So I have this first post and hello world, second post, function word, and the third post, which is the algorithm word. Yeah, that's the very natural one. You already know from the materials that we learned before the mid-exam. Now I'm going to teach you how we can use the REST framework. What we need to use is the REST framework that we just installed. This is the Django REST framework. And let's use this one. REST framework should be in the setting. So it means whenever we run our web, there will be the REST framework in our website. And after we have this REST framework, I need to define what are the items that will be seen in the REST framework. I call this is serializers. So this serializers is based on the REST framework, and these serializers will show you what kind of information that you will see on your API. So let's create serializers.py in the folder post. In the folder post, I will make a new Python file, serializers. And in this serializer.py, I will just paste the code. And as you can see, I'm going to use the REST framework, and I'm going to use one function in the REST framework, which is serializers. And I'm going to import the models. So I'm going to use any models. I'm going to use the post in the models, and the field that I want to share to the other person is this 5 field. So this is the field that you can define. If I want to define only 3 items, then you can just, for example, I just want to share only the title and the content, then it means you will have this one. So it depends on what items that you want to share with your API. So after you have this kind of serializer, what kind of API that you want to share, we need to still make the view. What does it mean by the view? The view means I want to see all the data in our web. So there will be 2 kind of class in this case. So I will put this code into the views.py. In the post, we have views.py. So I will put the value here. So in this case, I'm going to use generics. Generic is one of the function in the REST framework. I'm going to explain this one. I'm just viewing the API, or I'm going to retrieve the API. So it's a little bit different. So this is the SQL language in the REST framework. So if you know the SQL in the SQL, yeah, they have select, or you know how to insert, you know how to save, you know how to delete. So in the API, they have also their own methods. We will check the details after this one. After we generate the views.py, now we need to define what is the link that we want to share. So I will use this one. And I will create a new file name, which is urls.py. This is the urls.py. It means I will have 2 kind of link. The first link, I would like to see the list, and then I would like to see it as a view. It means I can see only the information, but there will be no such of modification. So later we will see what is the meaning by as view. So if you click this one, post list is this class. Okay? And in this class, there will be a lot of functions. So for example, views.postList. So there will be a lot of methods. You can have sview, or you can see the list. You can see the get view name, or you can have the query set, and etc. So I cannot explain one by one. So let me just use the sview. This is the common one. And then I would like to give an integer. If I give one integer value, then I will go to that particular ID. And I would like to check the details. And do not forget to update the URLs in the parent folder. So I will make this as an API. Okay. And then it includes the post.urls. So in the parent folder, we have the urls.py. Okay. So this is the urls.py. And then I will add one new head, which is about the API. And it includes the post URLs. So don't forget, when you use include here, it means you also need to give a new import, which is include. Okay. If everything is clear, you can try. Now this is your API. It means you do not need to share your database. You can share your API this to other people. Whenever you have this link, you can share this link to other people, and other people can see your data. So they don't need to access your database. Instead, you can just share the link. Okay. And if I want to see this one, this one is ID1, title, first post, content, hello world, created at, this is the time that I just created. Okay. If I want to see the ID1, so I can press 1 in the link, and then you will see only the ID1 in detail. As I mentioned to you, in the serializers, you can define what are the contents or what are the attributes that you want to share. So let's say if I do not want to share this one. Okay. I just want to share only the ID, title, and the content. Then those items will be shared to other people. But the remaining attributes will be only in your database. So if I get this one, how can I read it? This is in the JSON format. So in the previous section, I already teach you how to read JSON. So you can use Python to read the JSON file. Okay. And this is the Django REST framework. You can have options. Okay. What is the option means? It is only how to see what are the language that you use for this Django REST framework. You have the information get, whether you want to get the JSON. So this is the JSON format. So if you have the JSON format, you can make your reading JSON.py to read this information. if you have this API, yeah, this is the format API that you can use. Okay, so this is only view. The user or the client cannot modify this one because it is only as view. So there will be many functions in the REST framework. As you already learned in the previous section, we can have the CRUD, create, read, update, and delete. Maybe I will return back this one. Okay, let me return back the created at and updated at. Okay. So I will just put this into the here. Okay. As you might know, yeah, when you are creating something, if you use SQL, it means you use insert. But if you are using the REST framework or the REST API, you will need put or push. If you treat the SQL, you will select. But in the HTTP or the REST framework, you will need to get. If you want to modify, when you use SQL, you need to use update. But in the HTTP, you need to put, post, or patch. If you want to delete or destroy, you can use delete in SQL, but in the HTTP, yeah, oh, it's the same, delete. And this is what I explained to you before. In the REST framework, they have some, like the list, the possible list of the function. If it is list API view, it is used for read-only endpoints. Retrieve API view, it is used for read-only endpoints to represent a single model instance. So you have this kind of generic view. You want to destroy, you want to delete. If it is update, then you want to modify. If you want to list create API, so it means you can read and write. Retrieve update, so you can read or update. Retrieve destroy, you can read or delete. And retrieve update destroy, you can read, write, and delete. Now you can change. Okay. I give you in a few. So this is the original one, list API view. You can change this one to this one, list create API view. And retrieve API view, you can change to retrieve update destroy API view. Okay. What happened after you define with the new method JSON? If you refresh, now you can see that there is a new form below your API. It means other people who access this link, they can modify it or they can create it. So for example, I want to put a new post, for post, and then I want to say trial. So when I post this one, so it will be added into the ID form. Okay. And if I want to get, so if I click get, then the data will be added automatically. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And let's say I want to go to the number 4. So it is automatically give you a new button delete because I use the retrieve, update, destroy. Destroy means we want to delete it. So if I delete this one, are you sure you want to delete? Yes, delete. Then number 4 has been deleted. If you go again to the all API, so your information will be only 3 elements. Okay. Okay, so this is the explanation. Okay. Okay, I think I need to stop here. Okay. Any questions? So the next will be about Ajax. I think I need more time to explain about Ajax. So I will stop here and